this is a real treasure hoard of Egyptian artifacts, guys. This is insane. Look at this. This has ruby eyes, like something you would see in Indiana Jones. Look, you only could see it for a brief second, but look at that. I wouldn't go in there and touch it though. You ain't about to hit me with no Pharaoh's curse, even though that looked good in my bathroom.
A lot of people talk about the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Ra and the resurrecting Ankh of bringing back the life source, but they don't talk about the big old worm hanging out of the bottom of the eye. That's not an eyelash. That is a head with an eye and also a tail.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. On today's video, we're going to be diving into the most mysterious and strange TikToks nobody can explain. Hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in. This next clip is going pretty viral. Did you guys notice these strange lights in the skies last night?
Oh! ¿Qué pedo? ¡Hala!
Let's analyze this. You can almost see like there's something watching whatever's moving in a weird formation like that. It's moving incredibly fast in different angles. You know, it's almost like a search party's over there looking for whatever's going on inside this thunderstorm. That is pretty crazy. Reset centers.
Let's look at where people go to survive resets. There have been at least 5 resets and people prepared to survive the last one. These so-called asylums were reset centers. Mainstream history states that they started building these asylums during the Civil War. Oregon became a state in 1859, yet they supposedly needed an insane asylum this big in 1862. Another massive one built in Alabama during the Civil War. These buildings were not for the clinically insane. They were either some sort of government building or hotel from the previous civilization before colonization. They were repurposed into fallout shelters or survival compounds. They were completely self-sustaining and off-grid. Many old-world buildings were repurposed into survival shelters. This looks like a state capitol, not an insane asylum. These are palatial. Ultra-remote palaces, basically. Supposedly they were built as a part of the Kirkbride Plan. Supposedly he didn't like the conditions of the clinically insane. But people were thrown into these asylums for a bunch of arbitrary reasons, including novel reading. They had been basically chaining people up for these reasons since the 1200s. People were chained up for thought crimes up until 1800. And there was profit in it because it's human trafficking. After the last major reset, people survived in these compounds, and then there were reset wars. The surviving fighters that were captured were thrown in these prisons. This is the Philadelphia State Penitentiary. This is a castle. If nobody told you this was a prison, you'd say it's a castle. Folsom State Prison in California, castle. West Virginia, this looks like Hogwarts. Utah, this is a castle. Kansas City, this looks like a state capitol. And we have the Civil Reset War with its internment camps. And many of the people that didn't keep quiet about the fake Civil War were thrown in a soldier's home. And their children were taken and thrown in orphan asylums. The so-called colored orphan asylums were for the Aboriginals. The others were part of the orphan train and incubator baby campaigns. Many asylums were used as harems to produce these incubator babies. These were repopulation campaigns to fill the empty cities. The first wave of drones after the reset were sent in to extirpate the Aboriginal remnant. Generations of drones training drones, each generation knowing less than the last.
The blind leading the blind, you will surely fall into a ditch. That just popped in my head for some reason.
Slavery was legalized after the Civil War with the 13th Amendment. You can legally enslave someone if you send them to prison or an asylum. Then the Rockefellers get involved with a chemical outpatient system. This leads us to Thorazine, or chemical control through dopamine receptors. Big money. It was used for anesthesia. It essentially makes you sleepwalk, or neuroleptic. They then proceeded to shut most of the asylums down because the world had become an asylum in itself. Prisons are a cashless society, and because these pesticides and herbicides and fungicides are basically subtle Thorazine, and the fake foods that contribute to inflammation and obesity do the same thing as well. They destroy the flow of neuromelanin, which numbs us into oblivion. Then the Bushes unleashed Hinckley on Reagan, and that was the death blow for insane asylums. But reset prep didn't stop. Zorro Ranch is an example of modern-day orphan asylums, just part of the perpetual parasite loop. The reset and Clone Wars. X-Men is actually more fact than fiction. Mutants taking over. Same thing with Hogwarts. This is clearly a depiction of meltology. Look at all the meltology in the foundation of this building. There's a reset, and then reset wars, and then the Aboriginal prisoners of war become enslaved. And then the identity theft proceeds. Let's look at where people go to survive resets. There have been at least 5 resets.
You know, these are some wild theories, but you have to admit, if you did look at that, like the first view, you're going to say that's a castle. That's not a prison. Speaking of resets, look at this Egyptian treasure hoard they found. Man, these have to be like some of my favorite types of videos. When I first got started doing these reactions, I covered a lot of these, but you just don't see them anymore. So this is going to be good, guys. Are they in a literal cave and they're finding this? This isn't a cave. This is a tomb. And it's still going. We are just halfway there, guys. Look at this. Let's slow down a second, please. Look at this. That's real gold. It's like they just found this because you can see all the dust that's covered over there. They might be these might be grave robbers trying to auction these off at the highest price. Who knows? I wouldn't go in there and touch it though. You ain't about to hit me with no Pharaoh's curse. Even though that looked good in my bathroom. As Chris Tucker would say on Rush Hour. Look at these two. Just staring at you ominously. Look at these two just staring at you. This Anubis with a gold plated. It looks like it's granite with gold plated. Who knows? Who knows how many, artifacts are still out there that people haven't found. Like, look at these guys. They found this. Who knows what they gonna do? Look at this one. They found whatever this is. Some artifact of somebody's baby mama. What is this, guys? I can't identify it. I know this is Anubis though. Look how it's staring at you. Like you're looking at this, trying to figure this out and look at what's looking at you. What you looking at? That's crazy. This is insane. Look at this. This has ruby eyes. Like something you would see in Indiana Jones. Look, you only can see it for a brief second, but look at that. What if that's a ruby for the eyes? Like I've seen some people, make some stuff and it looks like it's fake. Like the alien artifacts, with the actual gray looking alien eyes, those artifacts. I'm not saying they all fake, but they don't look like they have the intricate details like these do. And you get the fuzzy camera just to add to the real aspect of it. Like for them to lay dirt out and to like have this looking like this, this would have to be like a Hollywood level. This would have to be a Hollywood level type of production. And I'm just not getting those vibes. I'm getting, this is a real treasure hoard of Egyptian artifacts, guys. They got this brother here, nose still intact. They couldn't have destroyed all the Egyptian artifacts. And look, you can see, if you look carefully right here, look at the damage on the walls. If you ask me, those are sledgehammer marks, and they're trying to go into the next room. For all we know, there could be 6 more rooms, and they just showing us the 3rd or 4th room they got in. Jackhammer marks or something. Look. Am I tripping, or does that look like they're trying to bust through to get to the other wall? Look. You know? They're trying to find all the artifacts, and wherever they're at, they're lining them up, going to the highest bidder. Probably. These are just all theories, by the way. Dang, I wonder what's inside that. What type of mummy they got up in there? Fascinating. Like I said, in my older videos, we've covered a lot of these. I probably stumbled across a good 20 of them, of people just showing us their Egyptian treasure hoard. I'm gonna try to get them all into one jam-packed video and put it on the website. That's actually a good idea. Show us some technology. Show us the technology you found in there, you know? Some type of Stargate key or something. But according to the hieroglyphics on the video we did, I believe yesterday, they said the Stargate key could only be activated by someone pure of heart. That was interesting. So it just wasn't like a magical key fob. It was literal, you know, oh, you're the chosen one, come through. How crazy would that be? I love this type of stuff. I can talk about this all day. I need to go live. And it's coming, guys. Alright, gang, for this next one, it gets pretty crazy. We gotta jump into submersible for this one because it's about to go deep.
I'm going to teach you something that your Sunday pastor couldn't even begin to explain. And as someone who's been to Bible college, I can tell you this, they're not teaching this there either. And it's not because they mean to, but it's because in the end, it said it would be blind guides leading the blind. But it's time to open your eyes. You see, your world leaders, the same ones using the as their logo, have you now believing in a and have you believing that aliens are coming from outer space. And thanks to the new disclosure files, they now have you believing there's 3 species, greens and blues and grays. Here, I'll tell you the truth. The thing is the Bible tells you at the end time that there's going to be these 3 unclean spirits like frogs coming out of the mouth, and the dragon and the false beast. Does that mean that they're going to crawl out of their mouth? Absolutely not. You need to understand they have an original form, an outer shell that can die. But what's left behind is a wandering spirit known as a disembodied Nephilim spirit in your Bible. These spirits enter in through the eye, and I'll prove this to you. But why does the Bible call them frog-like spirits? Here, I'll show you. This is a baby frog known as a tadpole. This is a baby frog, tadpole, in the water. And this is a Vril type 1 parasite known as a Proboscis. Do you see the black eyes? A lot like those greens and blues and gray aliens. Well, you see, this ancient worm spirit goes a long way back. And I want to tell you how far back this worm spirit in the eye goes. A lot of people talk about the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Ra and the resurrecting Ankh of bringing back the life source, but they don't talk about the big old worm hanging out of the bottom of the eye. That's not an eyelash. That is a head with an eye and also a tail.
They not gonna like that one. They not gonna like that. They are not gonna like that one. Oh my goodness. Wow. Are you kidding me? He is throwing haymakers.
Now, let me tell you about the Black Eye Club. It's an elite all over the world or a part of that you're not. Well, you see, when you take the proboscis worm and you put it behind your eye, it's known as droning. Hence the new thing that's big in the world today known as drones, where you pilot something from a distance without even being there, as in like a hive-mind. This is why it claims they sell their soul. They get a half-life, a cursed life, a blessed life, but a cursed life. You need to know that. Now, how are these three frog-like spirits speaking out of the beast, the dragon, and the false prophet, and the kings and the rulers of the earth? Via mind control, via the Vril Society, via the Black Eye Club, via the Hive-Mind control, where the elites are being controlled by their puppet master, the devil himself. This is part 1. I'll be sharing part 2 shortly, so check back in for more.
This whole time I'm thinking it's eyeliner. He said they not talking about that worm they hanging. Wow. You can kind of see it on my eye a little bit, you know? I don't have any eyeliner. That's just how I look, you know? I remember getting bullied saying I had girl eyelashes, and I literally cut my eyelashes, guys. Cause, you know, they was like, man, you got girl eyelashes. I didn't think to myself, like, why are you looking at my eyelashes? I'm just like, man, really? And I went home and cut them, believe them or not. You know, they grew back, you know, because that's just in my DNA. My eyelashes grew back, but yeah, I do remember the cutting them. But him saying they ain't talking about that worm hanging though, you know we had to see part 2. This is Beyond the Veil.
So yesterday, I introduced you guys to the Vril Type 1 Proboscis, which I believe is a frog-like spirit, this being a baby frog, which come from the foreheads of these very old reptilian, alien, demon species.
I've seen this before, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I believe some people said these are actually baby stingrays. I don't know if they was trying to cover it up or what, but they do look crazy looking.
And as I told you, it's involved deeply in the occults and goes all the way back to ancient Egypt. And Egyptian culture tells you all about this frog-like leader called Kek, who is the ruler of all people / Pepes. And Kek, which is associated to exactly what I was telling you about, chaos and disorder and the number 8, and is also associated with the worm in the eye, as I was telling you about, and also the 2 wings of an eagle. And lately, all over social media, has been tied directly into... But I'm going to blow the lid off of this for you. You see, Kek in Egypt culture was the one that was able to release chaos on the earth, all its little minions. Well, in the Bible, Revelation 9:11, it talks about a king over the bottomless pit that's allowed to take things out and cause disorder and chaos all over the earth. So I'm going to show you a pattern. In the 1890s, you have this book written by Ingersoll Lockwood, Baron Trump's Marvelous Journey to the Center of the Earth, which you have this character, Baron Trump, and he's being led by Don to this funnel that goes into the center of the Earth, where they meet these ancient, what they call ancient ones, okay? Beings of light and all this stuff. They meet them in the inner earth, and they give them all kinds of knowledge and understanding and things like that. So fast forward to when this leader behind the scenes took a whole team to the Arctic Circle and the Antarctica ice wall, in which they found Vril Island and the snout of Leviathan in South America. And also they went to the Arctic Circle to the Vril Island and went into the inner earth. And they also discovered the Vril energy and things of that sort. And speaking of Vril, you ever seen the Greenland movie in which you have the main character John and the producer of John Wick and Clash of Titans? But anyway, you have this guy John who takes all the people to save them to Greenland, and they stay at the Vril Air Base underground, restarting their civilization. It's weird because...
Oh man, another reset? Man, that other video was just talking about resets. This is getting crazy, guys.
I know another trying to take people to Greenland for security matters, and he's also associated with Hyperborea, being that the new disclosure files put out the Hyperboreans as being Nordics, like from the north. And all of you born in the 90s like me, hey, do you remember the Atlantis movies, technically the series where you have Michael J. Fox, take the people to where? Iceland, Ireland, the Arctic Circle up there, in which they also enter into the hollow earth and find these old ancient beings with white hair and light blue eyes in the inner earth. And you see, is also the leader of Babylon the Great. And I also believe he is indeed the king of the frogs. See, I believe the old world to be the new world. And I believe that the Mississippi is the Nile. I believe that Memphis, Tennessee is Memphis, Egypt. I believe that's also why after the plagues, all the frogs and stuff were washed down to the frog capital of the world, which is found in Louisiana at the mouth of the Nile, where they also have found Egyptian artifacts right there in the coastline. And I believe they tell you everything you need to know here in Babylon the Great about the frog people, the frog leaders, and the frog big old black hats. The frog circus leaders. Oh, and did I tell you they were proclaimed the frog capital of the world in the 1800s? Frogs, everywhere there's frogs. And let's not forget who proclaimed himself the king. Do you remember? Elvis, who's from Memphis, Egypt. And right up the street is an all-black pyramid still sitting on the Nile today. And let's not forget who likes to make himself in the likeness of the king of the Nile. The king of the frogs. But hey, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I just have TDS. Or maybe you're not seeing the bigger picture. I hope this helps.
Oh, I see. He used an example of the stingray, but you can look at the eye stalks in the, I guess it's called Proboscis. In Jurassic Park, what DNA did they use to bridge the gap between the dinosaurs? I'm just saying, it's a correlation there. It's crazy when you think about, gene splicing and that. Man, I had some more heat for you guys, but I want to get this one out to you guys. It's getting a little late. Let's hit this specimen real quick. If you thought I wasn't going to hit you with another excellent specimen, think again. All right, guys, feast your eyes on this specimen. I love this one. It's dramatic. This one is definitely dramatic, to say the least. Blue Aragonite clusters naturally formed with unique shapes, intact and undamaged, from Sudan. It almost looks like a water that just violently splashing, That's what I'm getting from this, like water that's like violently splashing. The rating I'm gonna give this a 9.5. And the name I'm gonna give this is Splash Lighthouse. Yeah, I like that one. Splash Lighthouse 9.5. I want your guys' rating, and put your name for this specimen in the comments below. Do you believe there was a real dragon Daniel slayed, or was it just symbolic?
if you guys have never read the cut-off ending of Daniel about the dragon, I'm going to go ahead and read it to you guys real quick. Just part of it. If anyone wants me to do a full reading, just let me know, because that would be a little bit long. So we're going to start here. It says, "And in that same place there was a great dragon, which they of Babylon worshipped. And the king said unto Daniel, Wilt thou also say that this is of brass? Lo, he liveth, he eateth and drinketh. Thou canst not say that he is no living God, therefore worship him. Then said Daniel unto the king, I will worship the Lord my God, for he is the living God. But give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. The king said, I give thee leave. Then Daniel took pitch and fat and hair, and did seethe them together, and made lumps thereof. This he put in the dragon's mouth, and so the dragon burst in sunder. And Daniel said, Lo, these are the gods ye worship. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation, and conspired against the king, saying, The king is become a Jew, and he hath destroyed Bel. He hath slain the dragon, and put the priests to death. So they came to the king and said, Deliver us, Daniel, or else we will destroy thee in thy house. Now when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them, who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days." Okay, so this is interesting, because the beginning of this story is about an idol that was made of brass, and the king was trying to prove that it was real, and it's a whole thing that happens before he supposedly presents a real dragon to him. So let me know what you guys think, if this is just symbolic or some type of true dragon that Daniel slayed. Alright, God bless.
Not doubting any type of mythical battle. The story's got to come from somewhere. That's all we got for today's video, man. Today was a fun one, man. What an interesting theories. Man, I had some more heat for you guys, but you know, it's a marathon, not a race, guys. And I do want to, I've been saving a lot of juicy stuff for us too when we go live. So I know this is working hard behind scenes, and I just want to say thank you guys for hanging with me, checking me out. The code word for today, if you made it this far, is Vril. Go ahead and drop Vril in the comment section. That lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way to the end of the video and you really rock with your boy. And I just want to say thank you guys for your support, and I'm gonna see you soon.